Hey YouTube, it's Adrian. Just before we get you to this video, do me a favor and head over to pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and I would love for you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make a pageant industry that is safe, transparent, and fair. I know it's like that most of the time, but over the last year, it's become very evident that it's not like that all of the time. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, put in your email address, and let's get you to this.
Hi, I'm Michaela Rose Fowler, your Miss Global Australia 2019, and this is my interview with the Pageant Project.
Hey everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and I have Miss Global Australia 2019, Michaela Rose Fowler with me. Michaela, welcome back to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Adrian. It's good to be back.
Now, I was going to ask Michaela, do you remember, for the last time we interviewed, so this is your second time, the first time, do you remember what was special about your interview? I mean, there are many things that were special, but do you remember anything in particular? You were a first for one reason. That's a blank look.
First, no, I was going to say first from Victoria, but no, surely not.
I don't think first in Victoria.
No.
You were the first person who was lucky enough to go live.
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah!
Or brave enough to go live.
Yeah, that was daunting. I didn't realize that was. I can't remember that being the first time, but yeah, that's exciting.
How does that sound? It seems to me like a long time ago. I mean, I don't know for you. Does it seem like a long time ago?
That was well over a year ago, because that was before I won the title of Miss Intercontinental.
Yeah. So you're going to have to catch us up. So since the last time I interviewed you, was before the lead up to the Aussie Power pageant in 2018.
Yes.
This
correct.
is when you were a finalist. Then you became Miss Intercontinental. You went overseas. Then you came back, had a bit of a break, and then you couldn't help yourself. And now you're Miss Global Australia 2019, and you're going over to Mexico in January, right?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay, so catch us up on that whirlwind of like 12, 18 months, because it sounds like a lot has gone on.
Oh, it has been a lot. It's been more than I could have ever imagined it to be quite honest with you. Like, it's been an adventure that I couldn't have ever imagined. Like, you think about what it's going to be like when you compete internationally, especially on such a big international stage, and you can't make it up in your head. Like, it's a million times better than whatever you think up. But so basically, I had my reign for Miss Intercontinental Australia. I haven't, unfortunately, been able to crown the next Miss Intercontinental Australia, just due to our director, Lucinda, being unable to hold the national pageant just yet, just due to some personal reasons. But we will be holding one next year, where I will get to crown another lovely lady then, which will be exciting.
Perfect. But back us up to if you can remember, because in pageant years it's a long time. But back to your international, like for Intercontinental, and just try and explain the experience, because there are going to be a lot of girls watching who've never won a national, but let alone competing internationally. Just what was that like with different countries, different people? It's got to be manic.
Well, for starters, the friends that I made there, I know it sounds so cliche and like every single pageant girl says it, but I genuinely am still friends with my group of friends that I made over there. I've been talking to them all day, and it's almost a year later. So it was incredible. I think there was 92 countries entered, and I think around 85 girls ended up attending. I think a few girls had troubles with visas and things like that, and every now and then there's always going to be girls who drop off for whatever reasons. So yeah, 85 is still a massive number of girls. It was very intense being in the Philippines. Pageantry is like royalty over there, like actual real
Yeah.
life royalty and
Yeah.
fame
It's
over
another
there.
level
So,
in the
oh
Philippines. It's
my
a
god,
different
oh
game
my
to
god.
what we have here.
I knew that it would be big over there, but I wasn't expecting to have literally their National Army Guard with us
Yeah.
constantly. And I couldn't wear my sash without walking down the street and having a million people take photos with me. Like it was amazing. It was an experience that I
Yeah.
probably could never have you know experienced without pageantry.
Of course.
So yeah, it was amazing that we. Oh my god, my favorite memory from the international pageant was probably when we went to a school. I can't remember the name of the school. I don't think I could pronounce it properly.
That's okay.
Yeah, so we went to a primary school and well, we were exhausted and we were asleep on the bus. It'd been like a really, really long trip. And we just pulled up at this and we had all the curtains down and we pulled up at this school, but we had no idea where we were. And we were just told to get off the bus. And we got off and it was just like hundreds and hundreds of screaming children. Like they were
Wow.
so excited to see us that it was literally like Justin Bieber walked into a school. Like that's how the only way I can explain it. It was
I'm not sure
honestly
that
like
Justin
that.
Bieber has ever walked into a school before.
Probably not. But imagine if he did. You can imagine how crazy the kids would go.
Yeah.
And they were like all being held behind like barriers and everything. And if you put your hand
Wow.
near the barrier, they just wanted to, hold your hand
Yeah.
and like and get your luck. And they would just sort of like grab your hand and almost pull you into the crowd. It was something that you couldn't even hear yourself think. That their screams
Wow.
were that loud. So just to sort of bring something special to their day was really, really really fun. And all we had to do was just be there and speak with them and give them our time basically. And they
Yeah.
were so happy, and it was just the best experience I've ever had. So obviously, Miss Intercontinental went for 3 weeks, so that's just
That's
over
a
3
long
weeks.
time.
That's a long pageant.
Yep.
You imagine pageant hair, makeup, heels,
Every day.
uncomfortable clothing.
Not much sleep.
Yeah. No. Some nights we only had 2 hours sleep because we had to be
Oh
up and
God.
ready with hair and makeup. So it's definitely not for the faint of heart. It is tough, but it's an experience worth having. That's for sure.
And you want to do it all again?
Apparently so.
I was going to say, but I mean, just going back to the whole being famous thing. I mean, did you being treated like a celebrity? Did you enjoy that? Because it sounds cool to me.
The school was really enjoyable. But to be 100% honest with you, the minute I got off the aeroplane onto Australian soil and felt like I was just about pretty much a nobody was the best.
Anonymous, we say.
Anonymous,
not a
yeah.
nobody.
Not a nobody. Anonymous. Okay, that's a much better term. But yeah, that was like the biggest relief I have ever had. Like it was like that was a cool experience. But I'm so happy to be me and in my own little world and my own little life.
So have you ever, just to give context, because I've been interviewing a lot of the girls over from the UK, some of the girls from the US.
Yeah.
Just to give context, have you ever, because you've been in pageantry a while and you've been quite successful as well, have you ever been recognised in public, ever, in Australia?
I have, yes. Believe it or not, a lot of the time it's actually from my very, very first pageant, Miss Westernport, because I was in a lot of the local newspaper and they were like, they heavily focused on it in the, what am I saying?
In the papers, in the media.
In the media, thank you. It's been a really long day for me. It's been a really long week.
And it's a Friday afternoon, so it's a long week.
So that was really funny. It was actually like I was having I can't remember what I was doing. I was having an appointment like at a hair salon or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And they were just like, oh my gosh, you're Michaela Fowler, as in like Miss Westernport, like pageant queen, Miss like Michaela Fowler, aren't you? And I was like, what? I was like, yeah, but how do you know that?
How did that feel?
It did feel good. It like, and not from a vain point of view of being like,
Mm.
oh, somebody knows me, but just from a point of view that what we're doing is being recognized. I
Mm.
think that was really, really cool because she knew some of the events that I had been at, and some of the charity work and fundraising I'd been doing. So that was the really cool part.
I can imagine. This
Yeah.
is now reminding me. I'm having flashbacks to our last interview. It was it your mother or your grandmother? Like your pageantry kind of royalty in terms of the generation. Was it your mum or your grandmother?
Both.
Oh,
Yeah,
both.
actually both. So my dad's mum and my mum. So on both sides of the family.
Right.
Just yeah, little small town pageants for them as well. But yeah, really, really cool that they have been a part of that world.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I don't know. It's like it's in my blood.
I was going to say it runs in the blood.
Yeah.
So you decided that you wanted to do this all again. So I guess the
Mm,
first question is why?
why? I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
I know.
To be honest, when I was given the opportunity for Miss Global, for starters, I just couldn't even say no.
Mm.
My only concern was just getting time off work. Um, there was nothing else within me or in my heart, in my soul, that said that this was wrong. So
Yeah.
I think that following your gut, and if something feels right, then there's a reason why. So that was initially the first thing I was like, and it was I was having kind of like a bit of a down few weeks there, and then this
Hmm.
came, and all of a sudden I was filled with joy again. And
Turn that frown upside down.
it did, it really, really did. And it was sometimes it's like, I know it sounds so funny, oh, not funny, but so cliche, but in some ways pageantry honestly has saved me in so many ways.
Yeah.
And and purely because it gives me purpose. It gives me a reason to be uh, putting myself out there and doing things in the world, and actually making me put a focus on the bigger picture rather than just
Mm.
living in my own little bubble. And yeah, pageantry just really, really opens your eyes to what else is going on out there.
So what is it? I mean, you've been involved in pageantry. I mean, how long have you been involved in pageantry? Would it be five
Since I
years,
was
10 years?
6. I think it's 6 years, since I was 19.
Right. I thought, oh God, I thought you
Yeah.
say since you were
Oh,
6. I
no,
mean,
no,
like I
no.
didn't, I didn't know that. All right, for about 6 years. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you basically you mentioned it just briefly before, but what is it that most attracts you to pageantry? What keeps pulling you back? Because we discussed, I mean, you work in real estate
Yeah.
and it's hard. You got long hours, you have manic
Mm.
weeks. It's not like you don't have anything to do with your spare time, or it's not like you couldn't go just home and go and sleep or go out and
Yeah.
party. So
No.
why do you decide to keep putting your time into pageantry?
Not just because it makes me happy, which obviously it does, because I
Yeah,
don't want to be doing anything that doesn't bring me happiness.
of
Um,
course.
but I think it's also, as I said, like when I went to that school, or I've been to, retirement villages and things like that, and it's seeing the smile that you can put on someone else's face, and then that giving you purpose. So I think it's through pageantry that I find a purpose for myself. Um, and as I said, it makes you stop and look at the bigger picture, because to be
Mm,
quite honest with you, I don't know that I wasn't really all that heavily into charity work and all of that side of life
yeah,
prior to pageantry. I did a few things. I did fundraise here and there and all that sort of thing, but never really put a heavy focus on it. And then when I stepped into pageantry, obviously there is that requirement, and it kind of pushed me to put myself back out there and do those things.
mm,
And then I realized that I wasn't just doing it for the pageant, I was doing it because it felt good as well. And I
yeah.
liked seeing that I was actually making a difference. Um, yeah, I don't know if that completely answers your question or not, but
No, it completely does. But my next question is just, how do you feel that you've changed in terms of since our last interview. So you were in preparations, as we discussed, for the Power Pageant, which here in Australia, because there's a UK version of it as well, which is slightly different. But here in Australia, it's for the global and intercontinental crowns, as well as Australia's Teen Queen.
Yes.
So how do you feel you've changed from since then to now? Because I know it's not a long time, but in pageant land, it's an eternity.
I think, obviously, as you said, pageantry does take up a lot of your time, and I've also been progressing in my career. So I've been really trying to work out where my time's going and what actually means the most to me and where I should be focusing my time more heavily. So realizing that the little things don't matter and stopping myself in my tracks and stopping myself from stressing over those little things. And I honestly think that that is due to both pageantry and my career, and realizing that they're two things that make me happy and I want to focus on. So just not overthinking every single little thing that happens in my life. It's made me a lot less self-conscious, because, I'm not focusing on those little things like, oh, I've got a little bit of cellulite there. Oh, my skin's not perfect today. No, but seriously, like, it's just those little things that you just get so worked up about. And then you go, they don't matter. And that's not where I should be focusing my time. So I think since winning the title, and being crowned Miss Intercontinental and now Miss Global Australia, I have really focused on what matters to me and what actions I'm taking and how much they actually matter in the world, basically. So and that's why I don't go out often. I'm not a party girl. I don't do all those sort of things because I don't think that that sort of thing, as much as it's fun, it doesn't serve me and it doesn't serve the world and the purpose and why I'm here. Looking at the bigger picture has definitely changed me as a person. I'm a lot more confident in who I am. And I don't think that that's because I won the title. I think it's because of the things that I've been through since winning the title. Like competing internationally, you have to believe in yourself. And as corny as that sounds, it is really hard to do. It is hard to believe in yourself.
Of course.
So I've definitely changed in here.
I'm glad to hear it. I mean, if you spend that much time in pageantry and you haven't changed, I think something's probably wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Fill us in with a career. I mean, we mentioned it very briefly last time, real estate, but you mentioned that you've focused on growing your career. So let's talk a bit about the career a little bit more. Tell us what you do. What do you do on a daily basis? And I understand it's stressful sometimes.
No, it's okay. It is obviously something I love. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it. So I am a real estate agent or real estate associate. I'm an associate to an agent at the moment, in sales, and people ask me how often I am working, and I pretty much say, oh yeah, I work full time, overtime, all the time. So
say that again.
When people ask me how many hours I work in the week and all that sort of thing, I say I work full time, and then I go correction, overtime, correction, all the time.
That sounds horrible.
No, I make it sound terrible, but I do love what I do. I do actually really love what I do. It's really cool. Real estate, especially in the sales side of things, all of my clients are either at the highest and most exciting moments of their life, or actually at the opposite, and they're going through really, really tough times. So, I've always got people who are starting a family and they need to upsize, so they're looking for a bigger home. They're buying their first home. It's super exciting. Or they're downsizing to retire and go traveling around Australia or something like that. And then I've got the reverse, where there's unfortunately families who are separating and divorcing. There's debt. There's all those really tough things that people go through. And that, I know it sounds really, really somewhat depressing, but I really like being there for people in both of those times. So I get to be excited and celebrate with people, but I also get to help people through a really, really emotional and tough time. And I'm sure you've heard a lot of real estate I'm sure you've heard a million times that real estate agents are dodgy. They're snakes. They're
I've
really
heard horror
terrible.
stories.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You've heard.
we all have.
And likewise with pageantry, you hear a lot of stereotypes created and things like that. And so with real estate, it's nice to be someone who is very human and who really does actually want to be there for their clients and isn't your typical real estate agent. And just the same, not being a typical pageant girl. It's all about breaking the stigma, and it's very much the same with real estate at the moment.
Yeah. Give us an idea as to what sort of you do on a daily basis. So what's a typical day in the life of Michaela?
As you've seen,
let's start from there.
So as you've seen, this has been really, really difficult to get all this going because my phone does not stop ringing. It literally just rings off the hook. And today is supposed to be my day off, but I basically haven't really taken a day off because I've got auctions tomorrow, which is super duper exciting. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. So I feel like a lot of people have an image of a real estate agent just sipping lattes in their local cafe, they answer their phone here and there and all that sort of thing, but it's not like that.
It's hard work, is it?
Yeah, it's really, really hard work. And for every phone call I receive, I probably make at least 20. So there's a lot of work that goes into it. It's early mornings, late nights. I haven't really finished a work day this week since before sort of 7:30, 8 o'clock all week.
Wow.
So, and it's not that, I don't hate that. I do love my job. And it's important. It's, it's people's biggest asset, but most of the time. So you can't take it lightly. So my day often starts with putting out open home boards early in the morning. In Melbourne, that can be quite cold and wet and raining, but that's okay. You just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
There is probably some illegal car parking whilst doing that as well, not going to lie.
Oh, I remember you got that. Well, you got 2 parking tickets in one day, didn't you?
Yes. Oh, it happens, but you just gotta roll with it. And then back home to quickly get ready, or I'll get ready at work and into a busy day. We have call sessions in the morning, so prospecting, calling all our clients, calling all potential clients, keeping everyone updated with what's going on in the market, in the real estate world. And then I'll have my lunch break, and then it's into probably letter dropping or some other form of prospecting, buyer calls, buyer work. There's just a lot that goes into it. A lot of appointments. I'm in and out of the office. No 2 days are the same. I've got appointments just all over the place, and it's just, you just have to be in a million places at once, and you just got to make it work.
It sounds full on.
It is. I make it sound it's really terrible.
No. I get it. Seems a sort of job that someone who needs the fast pace would really enjoy. Like someone who probably just wants to sit behind a desk the whole day wouldn't enjoy what you do. But it sounds like if someone wants to be on the move the whole time, they would enjoy what you do.
Yeah, definitely. And you've always got to be thinking on your feet. Yeah. And actually, pageantry has really helped me with real estate in the sense that, you never know what someone's going to ask you in the pageant world. And you have to be prepared no matter what. You never know who's a judge. You never know who's got a say in the pageant and who's going to be crowned and all that sort of thing. So I'm sure you've heard a million times, girls don't leave their room unless they're completely switched on, they've got their hair and makeup done, and you've got to be ready. Yeah, game face. And the same with real estate. Not from like the hair and makeup side of things, although you do have to make sure that you look sharp. But from the point of view that you don't know what any client is going to ask you at one given time, and you have to be able to respond in a way that's not going to be detrimental to the sale of the property, basically.
Yeah. So it'll keep you on your toes, basically, is what you're saying. Yeah. There must be many, many coffees drunk.
Yeah, and as you can see probably about how fast I talk every now and then, I've had a few today.
Thankfully, Melbourne has really good coffee. I will say that from Melbourne. And
God.
I do love Melbourne. So one thing it's definitely got going for it is a coffee. Just before, I do want to obviously ask you about Global in Mexico, but just before we get off the real estate career, because you've talked about it, if someone wants help selling a house or buying a house, what's the best way to get in contact with you for that?
So I do have we're ooh, if I can get some words out, we have our website, www.raywhitefrankston.com. So we service Frankston and surrounding suburbs. And also my Instagram page, michaela.fowler.raywhite, and
Cool.
all of my contact details are on there.
Okay, I will try to remember to tag those under the post as well. See if we can get you a sale. That'd be cool.
Oh, wow. Oh, and if you refer a friend who then sells their home with us, you get a lovely night stay at Crown Casino at their beautiful hotel there. So that is definitely worth it.
So if someone gets to you and sells a house through this interview, do I get the night stay at the Crown?
You might. You know what? If it's through this, you might just get that.
I suddenly just want to promote this interview everywhere. I'm going to paid advertise and just contact Michaela. Okay, got to get something out of this. Now,
Exactly.
Global coming up in Mexico. Is it in January? It's early January, isn't it?
No, early Jan. I fly out on the 2nd of Jan.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, what are you most looking forward to? How's the prep going, etc., etc., etc.?
Obviously, with work being as intense as it is, and at this time of year, it's spring, and obviously real estate just goes absolutely crazy during spring. So, pageant prep has been hard. I'll be honest with you, but I feel like it's something that I've been preparing for the last 6 years. So there can't be that much more that I need to, really prepare, or I know where I need to be focusing my time a little bit better. A lot better now than I would have a few years ago. I wouldn't have known what to do. I would have had so much to focus on, but now it's sort of like just fine tuning anything I wasn't quite happy with at Intercontinental. Sorry.
Yeah. So do you have any expectations that you're placing on yourself in terms of when you head over there? I mean, is it just going to be like almost a holiday for you, getting away from the phone for a bit?
Yes, it will be. And I'm so excited to see Mexico. It's honestly been on my list for so long. So I think that also was a bit of a sign that I had to do it, because it was in one of my dream destinations. So, to be quite honest, an expectation I'm placing on myself is to be a little bit more relaxed and have a bit more fun. Not to take it any less seriously, but just to be more confident and more me. I think that's something that I've always had to offer in previous pageants, is that I've always been very positive, very bubbly, and I think maybe that got a little bit lost along the way during Miss Intercontinental at the international finals. I think I maybe put a little bit too much pressure on myself, and I was worrying about a few little things that I should not have been putting my energy into. And when I'm not focusing on those things, I think that I have a bit more of a more appealing aura, if that makes sense.
A more appealing aura. Okay, I don't think I've quite heard that. Sounds like you're going to be radiating positive vibes.
Well, that's what you want to do. That's what any pageant, that is what the pageant queen needs to be. No matter what the system, no matter, it doesn't matter the system. You need to be radiating positive vibes.
Of course, but I mean, have you ever gotten stressed before during competition? Do you ever get stressed?
I think I am a little bit. I'm definitely well equipped when it comes to keeping my cool during pageant week. I remember, oh my gosh, there was this one moment at Miss Intercontinental where, let's just say, there were a few girls who were beginning to feel the pressure, and I just remember I've been trained by Lucinda, my director, and former pageant queens, just to always know to keep your cool. You never know who's watching. And that's what I did throughout the whole thing. I just kept my cool. Underneath, I'm stressing out, freaking out. I'm just about like dying on the inside, as you do. You do get anxiety, you do freak out a bit. But on the outside, you just got to keep composed, keep it calm, keep it cool.
I just have this picture of positive vibes or positive aura on the outside and dying on the inside. That seems very much like the life of a pageant queen, dying on the inside, but still needing to feel like everything's under control anyway. Because if you guys lose control, then it's game over.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And no one wants to be around someone who isn't making their experience fun at the pageant.
Of course.
It's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and you don't want to be around someone who's just being an absolute buzzkill. And it's never those girls who end up winning, the ones who are talking nasty things about other girls, just bringing all the negative vibes. It's never those girls who end up walking away with the crown, because it's just not the kind of person that you want to be around, and it's not the kind of person that people want representing their business.
Yeah, exactly. Are you having any time off in Mexico, or are you literally there and then back?
I'm literally there and back, because I think I get 1 day in LA at the end, but right. I just don't. I think unless I walk away with the title or as part of the Queen's Court, I'll have the last day after the crowning ceremony in Mexico, unless I'm, doing photo shoots and things like that as part of the Queen's Court, which, fingers crossed, that's what we're going there for.
Why? Because you said Mexico's always been on your sort of bucket list for vacation. What is it about Mexico that you've always wanted to see? Is it the food? Is it the scene, the people?
Oh, definitely the food is part of it. And apparently where we're staying, which is pronounced Oaxaca, I believe.
Is that one with an X in it?
Yes, it's Oaxaca, and I'm pretty sure it's called it's pronounced Oaxaca or Oaxaca.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's
not how I would have pronounced
it. That's what Google said.
Right. Okay.
So let's just go with that. But the food, the people. When I was actually living in the USA during college, my two roommates were actually Mexican. They were so lovely. I absolutely adored them, and I loved their cooking. I loved their zest for life, and I've just always wanted to go back. I've wanted to go to Mexico ever since meeting those lovely ladies.
Yeah. I mean, all you have to say to me is Mexican food, and I'm there.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
I think that's one of the cuisines that's my favorite at the moment. It's normally Japanese, but I'm really getting into Mexican at the moment.
Oh, yeah. A theme with my family at the moment, it's always been for a long time, is whenever we're having Taco Tuesday or making nachos, it's always a thing that someone always goes, "Oh, do you want to talk about it?" And the other person has to go, "No, it's nacho problem." So
how many times has that been said?
So many times. My family's really cool, I promise.
No, I remember from our last interview when you were interviewing, you're talking about chocolate, and then your sister said she was basically she was stealing the chocolate whilst you were interviewing.
Yeah, of course she was.
And then she outed you about your singing. I mean, on that note, do you want to prove your singing abilities? I've never been able to get anyone to sing on stream.
No, I can't sing. I've got nothing to prove other than that I can't sing. I'm not doubting what she said. Everything she was being honest when she said those words, and I do not want to put Australia through that.
I mean, do you like singing? Do you like singing in the car, in the shower, or you just stay away from it completely? Okay.
Oh no, right. I sing in the car, and I will put on a show. I tell you, anyone who drives past me, and I have a convertible, so
that's just perfect.
Yeah, so on a sunny day I tend to forget, if I'm just driving down the coast, because I live quite close to the beach, I'll completely forget that I've got the roof off, and I'll just go to town, and it'll be some terrible song that some really typical girly song, and I just can't even go there.
Have you ever had that embarrassing moment when you've stopped, pulled up at the lights, and then realised the people next to you are staring at you like this because you've been doing really bad dance moves and you've got a convertible? I mean, that just makes it better / worse.
Yeah, exactly right. That has happened too many times to count.
What's the most embarrassing song that you have been caught singing? Or just the most embarrassing song?
I don't know how embarrassing you'll think this is, but it's especially lately, my go-to tunes, my feel-good vibes, they have all been coming from Shania Twain. So
I would never have guessed that. Shania Twain.
it's just,
Which
she's just got
ones?
some really good, fun songs.
Like the
And
dancey fun ones or the slow ballady ones?
it depends on the mood. Depends on the mood. You know, if I just need to let it out, I might go for a slower tune.
Right.
But if I'm, you know, trying to just get into a good vibe, I'll go with, you know, your typical I Feel Like a Woman.
I know
all
her
those,
songs
yeah.
quite well. So,
Yeah.
interesting fact, did you know her song From This Moment was actually, for a period, the most used song at people's weddings?
Oh, I didn't know that, but it doesn't surprise me because it
No.
is a beautiful song.
What is that song? It's a song worthy of a convertible rendition, Driving Near the Coast.
I probably get too into it, and I just don't think the world's ready for that.
Okay, all right, I'll leave you alone about the singing. I'll stop badgering you about the singing. I guess before we head on to, we might as well do the final 10 questions again. I had this joke with Alicia, who you know, and Alicia, because I've interviewed her, God bless, like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't even remember how many times. We did reach a point where it's like, okay, there's no point asking you these questions anymore because, yeah, but second time around will be interesting. But before we do that, Michaela, just because Galaxy for Australia is coming up, and I know you've had experience with the Galaxy system,
Yes.
and a lot of the girls, some of the girls at least, are new and some are returning, and a lot of them are kind of wanting to know bits of advice, like bits of advice. So in terms of people getting to Galaxy Nationals, which will be March next year, I think, on the Gold Coast, what bits of advice would you have for girls competing in that system, whether it's the first time, second time, third time?
I know every single pageant girl says this, but be yourself. That they really aren't looking for someone who's exactly the same as the previous queen. They do want someone who's going to catch their attention. Practice your walks, practice your mannerisms and things like that. Remember your etiquette. And all of those little things. And if you make all of those small things second nature and they just come naturally to you, then you can really focus on everything else and enjoy everything else if you just practice and make those things second nature. You don't want to go on stage and be thinking, oh, my foot's too far to the left, oh, I turned too quickly. Like practice those things and make them second nature, so when you go out on stage you can just go, smile on and enjoy this moment.
Just in terms of packing, I just thought I'd ask this packing tips. What are 1, 2, or 3 like packing tips, stuff that girls who are going for the first time might not know to bring but have served you well, or just packing tips in general?
Okay. Oh yes, this is my number 1 tip to every single pageant girl: sticky boobs. Oh my God, if you do not bring sticky boobs and nude undies, preferably like seamless, they are the 2 things that have saved me. And like, because you can wear them in every single outfit. In pageant world, you never know what's going to happen. You never know when you're going to have to get changed in an awkward place. And so if you have, you know, your bare minimums, your sticky boobs and your nude undies on, then you can basically get changed wherever you have to. And I tell you what, especially internationally, there are some really odd places where you have to be changing outfits like 5 times. So that is number 1, is those 2 things. Number 2, noise cancelling headphones. If you can get your hands on some, I thoroughly advise investing in some, because you never know when you're going to be desperately in need of sleep and it's going to be loud and noisy. And sleep is, if you can get any single minute of sleep. Like when I was at international, I know it's not as intense at national, but you need to be remembering that they're looking for someone prepared and ready to send to internationals. Any single minute of sleep that you can get, you need to take it and you need to make the most of it. So so noise cancelling headphones. And eye patchy things. What else is like a must bring? Just backup some backup jewelry and things like that, and safety pins and just all those little things, because if something breaks, if you lose something, you forget something, you need to have backups, and that is what's going to save your mind as well. Like, if you don't have to stress, if you've lost one of your pair of shoes and you've got a backup pair, then suddenly you're okay. The world is okay. The day will continue.
Those are some really good tips. I have heard the interestingly enough, I have heard the seamless underwear one before. The sticky boobs, I have not. I did not think I would ever hear the phrase sticky boobs in an interview, but I know what you're talking about.
They are the best, because strapless bra just doesn't do it. You've still got the strap at the back. Sticky boobs, perfect. You can wear them with absolutely every single outfit. It's perfect. Perfect.
Okay, tricks of the trade.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, before we get to the final 10, is there anyone that you want to give a shout out to or just say thanks to for supporting you in your career, in your life, in pageantry, in life in general?
Well, obviously, my family has been amazing, but more specifically, my sister. She owns Saya Medi Spa in Somerville, and I actually just came from there. She's been doing skin therapy and facials and all of that sort of thing for me, keeping my skin in top shape. I will actually be doing a post about that in the next few days, showing everyone how amazing my skin has been looking and feeling since the treatments. And also my lovely girlfriend Holly, she has a product called Puresque, which is a pure marine collagen supplement, which has also been helping immensely with my pageant prep, and just for hair, skin, nails, even gut health. It's been amazing.
Oh, that sounds really interesting. Okay, cool. All right, final 10 questions. Do you remember any of the questions or any of your answers to them?
I think there was something to do with food and something to do with a word that you hate the most, but I don't remember my answers at all.
Okay, all right. Let's go into it, fresh face then. So the question, the first is, what is your favorite word?
Favorite word? Womanly. I know that sounds really, really weird. Or just even woman. Like, I'm really vibing that word at the moment. Vibing. Oh God, how many times have I said vibe in this interview?
Not as many times as you've said honestly.
Oh, true, actually. Yeah. Oh well. If you find something that works, just stick to it.
Like sticky boobs.
Yeah, exactly. Life is like a sticky boob. If it works, stick it on and leave it there. Anyway, that's...
I was going to do a post that has a photo of you with that quote underneath. Damn. Yeah, it's like the Forrest Gump quote, except life is like a box of sticky boobs.
Oh gosh, wow, yeah, that's probably not ideal, but oh well, let's roll with it.
That can't be taken out of context at all.
Or women, even just anything to do with being womanly, and it's just been something that I have really been, I don't know how to explain it. Embracing. I've been really, really embracing being wholeheartedly a woman. And I know that sounds so
unabashedly,
I mean, like,
unashamedly a woman.
The strength, honestly, there we go. The strength that women have, the warmth that women have, the lumps and bumps and curves that women have, just everything that comes with it. And I've just been really embracing that whole, just everything that word embodies.
I like. Okay, that's definitely not what you answered the first time. I can't remember what you answered the first time, but I'm 100% certain it wasn't that. But let's move on to the second question, which is, what is your least favorite word?
Past or past. Like P-A-S-T and P-A-S-S-E-D.
Right, okay.
Because I know it sounds really silly.
Living in the past.
Because I can't tell the difference between the two.
Oh.
So I hate using that word. I hate using it in, like, when I'm texting or anything, and there's someone in my life at the moment who continually uses that against me. And I just hate the word because I can't use it correctly. And I am like a stickler for using the right there, the right your, the right it or it's, like everything. I'm such a stickler for it. And past or past, just it gets me.
Well, P-A-S-T, that's a noun. So, I mean, that's an easy way to remember it. Something is in the past. Everything else, that's a verb. He passed the ball. That has to be the P-A-S-S-E-D. That would be the easy way to remember it. Literally, the past is a noun. So it's a thing. So if you can't grab onto it, then it's P-A-S-S-E-D. That's how I'd remember it.
Oh, I like that. If you can't grab onto it, wait. Yeah, if you can't grab onto it, then it's P-A-S-S-E-D.
Yeah, you don't want to hold on to the past, literally hold on to it. So that's P-A-S-T versus he passed the ball, he passed the supermarket, or she passed the question.
Ask me that next time, quiz me on that, and I'll probably still get it wrong.
Okay, I'll remember that. Question 3. In life, what gets you excited or what turns you on?
Life itself. No, what gets me excited at the moment? Honestly, any little moment that I can get for myself at the moment is a win, and it excites me. And it's like just the little things, like having my coffee in peace and quiet on my own. That is like the biggest win, and it makes me so happy, and it will make my entire day just the best day ever, no matter what happens.
What's your go-to coffee?
Iced long black.
Oh wow, another one. Okay, and one of my friends loves the iced long blacks and put me onto them. So it's like,
oh really?
Yeah, because most people want to have milk in it or something. I have not met many people who want long blacks.
Yeah, well, no calories.
That's true. Literally zero.
So, yeah, no dairy, so like no upset tummy, and I also don't like hot liquids. So hence why it's iced.
Okay. All right, that's a very logical reason. I just like them, but that's a very logical explanation.
I don't really like the taste of coffee all that much, to be quite honest.
Then how do you stomach a long black? Because that's as coffee as it comes.
I just think of the life it's going to give my soul.
I thought you were going to say, I just think of the alternative where I'd be dead and grumpy the whole time, and that's not not acceptable.
I drink coffee for the benefit of others, not my own.
That's another quote that I can attribute to you. Okay, question 4. What turns you off?
What turns me off? Oh, just negative people who just complain. It's like nothing annoys me more than someone who is complaining about something small in their life and acting like it's the end of the world. Like I just want to, no.
You want to strangle them? Is that what you were going to say?
No, I don't want to strangle them. I just want to shake them. Just shake them and remind them that life
this looked like
good.
strangling. Okay. All right.
No,
that looked very aggressive. I don't want to
strangle anyone. I just want to shake them.
Okay. All right. Question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
Oh, the coffee machine. The sound of my coffee machine.
You've got one of those fancy pod machines now, don't you?
No, it's not a pod one. I have to put like ground coffee into it, but it just makes the best noise. But once it's finished heating up, and it just makes that, and you just know the coffee's coming.
Yeah, I can see you beginning to drool already. It's actually happening.
Yeah, I'll just done.
Yep. Just clean yourself up. Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
What sound or noise do I hate? It shouldn't be this, but it's probably my phone ringing. Actually,
after today,
there's particular moments where I really, really hate that sound. Just being probably on a Sunday and after 8 p.m.
Right. I thought you were going to say just when you sit down with your coffee. That would be the worst time for the phone to ring.
Oh, yeah. But other than that, during the day, it's a great sound. Okay.
Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Teleporting. I've given this one a lot of thought, actually. Recently, I dated a guy who said that teleportation would be the best superpower ever. And I was like, why? And he's like, imagine you could just be like, okay, I need to be somewhere. And then I was like, oh my God, that would solve just about every single life problem for me. Like, I am always late. So I'm always ready right at the time that I need to be somewhere. So if I could just teleport there, I would always be on time.
You really have given this a lot of thought. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Okay, question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
What would I like to attempt? I'd love to be like a news reporter or like a weather. I'd love to be a news or weather reporter.
They're slightly different. Would you have any preference, news or weather? Because news is like breaking news. Weather is just
news,
pointing to the clouds.
News. I think when I have some voicemails because I leave a lot of voicemails for part of for work, and every now and then I catch myself. I'm like, oh, that was very news reportery, and I'm like, oh, I like that. I want to do that. So, yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, what job or occupation other than your own would you definitely not like to attempt?
Probably being a cleaner. I'm a very messy person. I can't even keep my own room clean. I shouldn't be trusted to keep somebody else's clean. It is what it is.
So what's the state of your room at this very moment?
You don't want to know.
I love how we can just see this way and it looks really clean. And I'm just wondering what's just like 1 centimeter to the left and the right, and you're like in a valley of stuff.
Oh, you can see this corner. There you go. Lovely artwork, and that's about all that you are going to see. That's all you get. To be quite honest with you, my pageant packing has begun. So. Oh,
okay, yeah. So that when it's like someone exploded a bomb in the middle of a pile of clothes, that sort of look.
Definitely. And I pretty much only just finished unpacking some of my stuff from Intercontinental, to be 100% honest with you. It took me at least 6 months to unpack my suitcases. Yeah, okay. We all have flaws, and these are mine.
Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh, I think I said this. I said this on one of your Instagram posts, that I would love him to say something along the lines of, and the Gucci store is right over by the chocolate fountain.
Oh, and that's right.
Everything's free.
Yeah, and I think I responded, if only it didn't make you fat, which probably in heaven it won't make you fat.
It wouldn't. So. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
So that would be heaven.
Okay. Well, thank you for round 2, Michaela.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
And thank you for sticking. Well, maybe you should thank me for sticking with you through the technical difficulties. I was going to say it wasn't me who did them, but
no, it was me. I think I'm having some serious internet troubles, and that's just not ideal. I'm so sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good. It's Australian internet for a reason. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep you on the line for a second whilst I hang up on the live. But I just had an idea. Since you want to be on the news. You know how they always sign off on the news.
Oh, no.
Would you like to sign us off in your best news reportery way?
I'm more of a
Just give it a go. You got to put your name in there because it's always, you know.
So a bit of a I'm Michaela Rose Fowler. This is Adrian, and we're saying goodnight to you from the Pageant Project. Thank you. I don't know, something like that.
I was waiting for the back to the studio part.
Hey guys, it's Adrian again. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com and join the launch team for our pageant review site. All you need to do is put in your email address. Thanks, and speak to you next time.